Hello again. Welcome to another Nothing Like a Good Book. We've had some terrific authors, terrific books. We've had fiction, non-fiction, memoirs, autobiographies. We've had them all. And this particular episode, something unique again. I think I mentioned to you a couple of weeks back that, in fact, it was the last episode. I'll be introducing some interesting gadgets, tools, people that have created these tools, individuals in one way or another, all connected to the publishing industry, the marketing niche as well, all sorts of yummy things that are very, very unique. And the one today is, I'm very proud of this one. This is exciting. Some will say, oh, well, but no, it's got its reasons, and everything has its reasons. So welcome to the show. And don't forget, we're here to discover your book, no matter if it's an ebook or, electronic book, Kindle, novel, hardcover, softcover, doesn't matter. We'd like to help you promote your book. And if we can, let's help you get some sales of your book as well, because that's what's important. And the front page is up, I think. Nothing Like a Good Book now. There's a lot to go onto the site, so it's not quite finished, but it's nearly there. All right, so Nothing Like a Good Book. That's the coming about pretty soon. So to launch this particular segment and episode, my guest is the actual founder of Five Milestones LLC and creator of PodtoBookAI. Oh yeah, what the heck is that? So I'd like to welcome, before we go any further, Sheila Slick. Hi there, Sheila.
Hi, Mark.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Nice to have you on the show. Before we get into really, introducing Pod to Book, Sheila, I'd like for you to share just a little bit of your background for my listeners and viewers. And I'd like to know how you got where you are today. I mean, you're a success story. You've come from another country, a legal immigrant, and tell us about what you've done, what you've achieved, how it came about.
Well, yes, I came to the United States at the age of 4, and about 21 years later, after graduating college, I decided, along with my husband, to travel overseas and start our first company in my birth country. And that was quite an adventure. He didn't speak Spanish, and armed with a business plan in hand, we founded our first manufacturing company, in the construction industry. And that
very nice accent. What country are we talking about here?
Nicaragua.
Nicaragua.
Is in Central America. Yes.
All right.
It is right in the center between North America and South America, that land bridge that connects Mexico to Colombia. I'm doing my geography. You've got my brain rolling. That land bridge, Central America. But
Gotcha.
It is in the North American continent. And if you're going to talk geography, a lot of people sometimes don't understand where Central America is.
Yeah, I guess a lot of people never even look at the map, see where the heck we are. Your major business has been helping people in business. Okay. So explain how you do this. This is the 5 milestones, right? That we're talking about.
So while living overseas, I co-founded 3 different companies. And the third one came as a result of a competition, from NASA called the NASA Space Apps Challenge, where our project was a book, a digital book. It was where innovation met the moon. It's a children's book that still lives today in the iBook store. It is open source and educational. So that brought with it a lot of awareness, let's just say, or publicity in the country. And I was approached by others to either do programs to teach others how to use technology. So we call that STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. I also learned how to code. So I developed over 31 mobile applications with that company. And so many people would, come up to me and say, Sheila, I have an idea for an app. And so having an idea when you're a business owner isn't quite enough, right? You need to go through the circle and think it through. How am I going to turn this idea, into action? And is it viable? Is it a good idea that will survive as a company, right? So that's when I first began mentoring and helping others when we talk business. And fast forward to around 2018, my family and I decided to return back to Florida, where we're at now. And I went into consulting. I went back to school. I earned a master's degree, all part of that transition, and founded an American LLC called Five Milestones, which is continuity of what I was doing overseas.
Okay, so it's a consulting business, two businesses. We're talking small, medium, large, what?
My heart is with the small business owner, the professional, the solo entrepreneur, the mother entrepreneur, the ones that want to work from home. Those are the ones that I believe need sometimes the most support, because sometimes if they have a team, it's a very small team. If they're a startup, they're looking for funding, they're looking for those first users. So those are the ones that I love to support.
Yeah, a salt of the earth type people, and more importantly, in a country like America. In fact, when you think about it, just about anywhere, they are indeed the massive percentage of all business done is from small businesses, that keeps the country afloat. But through all of these years now and doing all this consulting and something else, a lot of other things were coming up, weren't they, in your mind that you'd like to get going on. And now you've written a book, which is your very first book, and I'd love to show that. We're talking about this one here. And congrats, it's now on Amazon. It's called Momentum, Daily Practices to Build Your Business and Thrive. And I mean, it's perfect, really, isn't it, from what you've been doing for years?
It absolutely is. And if we continue reading the subtitle, who is this book for? Freelancers, entrepreneurs, and self-employed individuals.
There we go. I wanted you to do that. Interesting. You say entrepreneurs, I say entrepreneurs. Tomato, it doesn't matter. But that's exactly what it is. Momentum, daily practices to build your business and thrive. And it is for three key groups. Now, let's have a look at number 2. Let's have a look at the back of it. It's a bit hard to read, isn't it? It's a bit small there, but there's your ISP and so on. What is the impetus of the book as far as you're concerned? What do you want business to take away from it? What are the biggest things in it?
So they're actual practices that you can implement immediately as you read the book. And so in it, I share a lot of the very same practices that I use to be able to talk about what we're going to talk about next, PodtoBookAI. How do you go from idea to launch? And so, putting on my own consulting hat, I thought this is a great way to also break down, in steps and offer some of these practices, because along the way, I've already, continued to meet people that have had an idea, yet they haven't launched. And so, when people say, oh my gosh, one of the things they really admire about me is how I'm able, to take that action. And so momentum is something that I am keeping in my night table because it has beautiful practices, and there, I have citations. So anytime that I refer to perhaps psychology on how we can make better decisions, how can we batch our tasks, when do we have the most energy to work into that project or that company? So that's what this book is about. It's 10 practices that you can apply. And I built the 10 chapters like a toolkit. So, if you need to do something around the house, you're going to have a toolkit. But depending on
Right.
what you need to do is what tool am I going to use? And so once you read the 10 practices, at the end, I close it with, well, let's reflect. What's your biggest challenge right now? Well, head on over to that chapter and put that practice into place.
Okay. More or less like a Bible of what to do and how to do it, perhaps. For the small business person, keeping you on track, I suppose, which is important, isn't it?
And it's one of the things that, we struggle with when we are entrepreneurs. Is it just, the excitement that comes with that idea? It's, keeping that momentum alive. And any business owner will tell you that business is a roller coaster. It goes up, it goes down, almost like that momentum, it's waves. And so it's really important,
Right.
to practice, to take these practices into account so that you can continue moving forward. And that's where I'm at with this book.
All righty. So it's on Amazon now. And it's also in the versions are also in Kindle too, isn't it? It's in Kindle.
Correct. It is in paperback. It is an ebook in Kindle. And my next step will be to continue distribution so that it is available in all types of bookstores and stores and perhaps even libraries. So it will enter the catalog.
All right. Now, so far we've got the Five Milestones LLC, we've got the consulting company and what you're doing. Now we've put it to a book to where you can help more strategically, where people can follow, the directions and stay in touch and in tune and stay on track. And then you get another idea. All right. You must have terrific angels. That's all I can say. This is a brilliant idea of a creation that you've put together. It's a new innovative AI-powered software solution that actually turns conversations into manuscripts in just a few clicks. Have I got that right?
Yes, Mark. 3 clicks, click, click, click.
Click, click, click. Now we see this book here. This is one book, all right? And there is the back cover of this book. Let me show you, okay? Now let's look at, say, another book that was done by this particular creation, all right? Just to give you an idea, all right? There we go. And how was it all done?
Any
By this.
podcast into a book
Have a
in
listen.
just 3 simple steps. First, visit PodtoBook.com. Paste your podcast RSS feed URL in the input field. Choose which episodes you want in your book. You can select up to 15 individual episodes. Step 3. Sign in with your email to start the conversion process and click Generate Book. PodtoBook will transcribe and rewrite and format your selected episodes into a professional book layout. The process takes just a few minutes for each episode. That's it. 3 steps to transform any podcast into a readable book. Try PodtoBook today.
Wow, that's pretty cool, isn't it? And someone's going to say, well, hang on a minute. What did I just see then? You telling me that, for instance, an example, we're having an interview, okay? Now, if I wanted to do a little book on this interview, as an example, you telling me that PodtoBook will do that for me?
In 3 clicks.
In 3 clicks.
It's that simple. Yes. Coding it wasn't that simple, but I accomplished the mission, which was to make it so easy so that I could take audio conversations and turn them into a manuscript. Now,
It's a good idea.
we all know that in order to go from manuscript to published book, There are additional steps. But when you're looking to publish a book, one of the first questions you're going to get asked is, do you have a manuscript or not?
Right.
If you don't, you'll either need a book coach, someone will walk you through that process, or perhaps a ghostwriter. And as a creator, because I do have a podcast, now I've got two, but as a podcaster, we have all of this wonderful content, all of these insights. And so, you know, a podcast like yours that perhaps has reached 100 already, they're gold mines. You have so many insights, you have so many guests. And so this also is a great way to repurpose that content, because the AI isn't just taking the transcript. You know, this conversation may have ums, it may have ahs, it has those awkward pauses, but it takes that transcript, then analyzes it, and based on the codes that I put in, you get a narrative, a story. So it's being retold, transformed. And so you end up with a different type of medium, a different type of content from the same conversation.
An actual brilliant repurposing tool. You say, yeah, 100 of Nothing Like a Good Book, so still got a long way to go with this, but nearly 400 in the Mark Bishop Show episodes. And, you know, another local one I do is Tucson Means Business. That's a couple of hundred, whatever there. But when you go back on something like the Mark Bishop Show, and I've interviewed so many good CEOs across America in business, thought leaders, entrepreneurs, you know, that's excellent for me to perhaps put into a book, which I'd like to do. But this was fantastic. I mean, your creation, how did the idea of the software first, you know, come to you? Well, were you being asked questions perhaps? Or, you know, or did it just come at 3 o'clock in the morning?
With AI, I was resisting that change because it is such a change, right? It's like when the internet first came out, and it's not going away. We have to learn how to use it, and we need to adapt.
Right.
And so as a coder, my thought, oh boy, like, I don't know that I'm capable of learning this AI. But in my podcast, I had a very intriguing guest. And after the show, he said, Sheila, you need to just recreate one of those apps and see what you can do with AI. But then when I thought about some of the apps that I had created, they were either for third parties, organizations,
right,
or I was in a different stage in life when I had children. And so a lot of them were educational apps, like learning the timetables. And I'm thinking, I don't need those apps, so why would I recreate them now? So what do I need? I need to be able to either repurpose my content or publish a book. That's how the idea came out. Now, the first book that you showed, which is the Adrienne's book.
Yeah, there we go.
Unscripted Brilliance. She took those episodes, asked her guests, and the response that she got, so many people sometimes haven't even been published. And so it gave them an opportunity to see themselves in a book. And the feedback that she was receiving from the book made her take it to the next level. As we speak, she's hosting a summit with 19 different speakers with the intent of taking each one of those presentations and doing her next book.
Good on. It sounds
They're
brilliant.
thrilled.
Idea. So there we go. It could look like that, looks like that. And they can have
So by doing a collaborative book that way, for marketing purposes, it's very beneficial.
Now, I was going to say a little earlier, because of the font that was up on the bottom, I had asked Sheila at the beginning, this sounds brilliant, if people would love to get into it and they watch the show. You know, it may be that you want to be an author, but you haven't written. Maybe you don't feel you could. Maybe you're not really sure of, you're not confident yet to get into it and do it yourself, maybe there's another way. Well, there is. Contact me, send me an email, and I'll interview you. And then we'll turn that interview into a book. Very simple. Very, very simple. Works brilliantly, 3 steps, and there we are. And now tell us about the sizes, because, you know, as I said at the beginning of the show, there's going to be some that are going to go, ugh. Now they're going to be the long, not proper.
Hold on, my heart is beating, Mark. Can you just give me 1 second? Just one?
Sure.
I'll be right back. This is called a live unboxing. We're taking this podcast. What do you think is in the box?
I would think it'd be books. Yes.
Maybe. Oh my God, I'm going to cry. This is the emotion.
Fantastic.
This is like Christmas for... Okay.
And folks, if you want to do this, you know, you can get a $25 discount because you saw it right here on Nothing Like a Good Book. It's very nice of her. That's how they come from. Where did they come from? Amazon, right?
Yes.
How many did you order? How many come in the box?
I have 3 children.
So you got 3.
So I ordered 3, 1 for each child.
Very nice.
So that they also take these practices into place. It's
Oh,
for, yes, entrepreneurs, but the practices can help them all. And they'll always remember, oh, Mark, this is so exciting. Thank
Right.
you. I can't believe, like, this is perfect timing, the unboxing of
It is. But what I want
my
to say,
proof of concept, because like I said, I had published ebooks before, but they didn't use PodtoBookAI.
okay.
And so when you order your copy now,
Here's the deal. At the very beginning of the show, I said, there's going to be people that mightn't relate or like this, didn't I? Well, what that means is this, is you've got a long author who writes a big novel or writes a paperback or writes this, you know, sit down with the pen, the writing, and then and even with this, you still have to get it edited. You still have to get it proofread. Okay. You don't want any mistakes. It has to be formatted, but that's all pretty easy stuff. So what I'm getting at, though, is when you look at something like this that PodtoBook can do for you, my question to you, Sheila, is this. 5 chapters, 10 chapters, 1 chapter? How many chapters can you do?
normally a book can average 50,000 to 75,000 words. That'll give you anywhere between 150 to 200 page book. Now, when we talk pages, books come in different sizes. They come in hardcover, they come in soft cover. And so the page also depends on the size that you choose. So in this case, I'm talking about a 6 to 9 paperback book, which is a very popular size and format. I looked at my own bookshelf, and
Yeah, it's the most
they
popular
weren't
stuff.
textbooks. A lot of them were paperbacks in this size. Now, I do want to read at the very beginning. I put this book was developed from podcast conversations transcribed using PodtoBookAI. All content has been reviewed, verified, edited, and refined by the author
Very good.
prior to publication. So I've also heard from other users, since it's a proof of concept, I am proud of this. There are many users that are using AI tools. When you upload your books, you have to check off, have you used AI at all and in what capacity? And then you have to list which tools you've used. So it's not a question of, no, I'm not using AI at all, for those that perhaps have that resistance. But let me be clear. This book was not conversations from my podcast like Adrian's. I wanted to do individual solo episodes. I am great with words. It is easier for me to speak words than it is to write words, even though I am in a writing group right now, and I've been writing a lot as well. So it is my voice and the content that I provided that was transformed by AI. And it doesn't change the tone. It is programmed to keep your voice and the nature of that conversation. So it's a bit different than going into AI saying, write me a book,
Yeah.
right? So
Okay, I'm glad you clarified all of that. That's important, I think. I mean, there's so much AI out there. There's so many people. I mean, they've even got, AI podcasting and voices and carrying on. I mean, they're destroying the industry as far as I'm concerned. But then again, people want to hear real people and real stories. But they're saying, what, AI? You wouldn't even know the difference with your voice. Really? But at the end of the day, there's people out there flogging all sorts of software with AI. And I think I came across a dude the other day. He's charging serious money for being able to set it up with your AI, and it judges it all, puts it all together, the templates of this, the that. Okay, that's a different thing again, isn't it? But this, I'm glad you put that on the front page, because what I do like what you just said is that if somebody would like to really write their own memoir, autobiography, and they're not good at writing, they don't feel they can get all that down on paper, well, we can record it for you, right, at Mark Bishop Media, or you sit down yourself with your own equipment, your own gear, and you record it, all right? And then that can be put into exactly the PodtoBookAI, correct?
absolutely. Now, we have had some users that have used it to write their memoir, or I call them legacy book, because you're leaving your legacy. Now, a lot of people may also say, well, print, with so much digital media out there, are people even reading books? You hear it all, right? Either
you do
resistant towards the AI, or you're resistant towards the traditional publishing.
Yeah.
But I think the most important is get that message out there, and in different mediums and different formats.
Right.
And so with the memoir, the best way to do it is to have a conversation, which this is a great business idea for you, because you begin with a simple 30-minute interview, get to know the person, and then you think, well, how do I want to break down that story? Or are you going to talk about certain themes? So each chapter should be an individual conversation. I personally think 10 conversations, if you can break it into 10, you have a great book that can be read from beginning to end. And I'll give you one idea, because my mother has published many books. She's an interior decorator. And she doesn't want to write a memoir about her own life. And I thought, but I really need, to be the publisher of one of her books. I want her to share a little bit more, something that I can, hold. And she's passionate about tablescaping. A lot of people may not know what tablescaping is, but it's, decorating the centerpieces where you're going to eat, whether it's an occasion. But I've never known the why she loved it or loves it. And so I interviewed her. I have one conversation. It's 27 minutes long. And I passed it through PodtoBookAI, and I sent it to her, and I said, let's break this down into chapters. And so she's going to do it by month, so that each month she can focus on one particular theme for her tablescaping. But it was so beautiful to hear the why behind the tablescaping.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I mean, it's excellent. It just goes to show you it's one example.
Thank you. She's very excited, and taking the time to proofread and make a few changes. She did emphasize that it's not about the food, that her passion isn't cooking. And so she needs to make sure that reading, that manuscript that she received, because remember, it is analyzed and rewritten by the AI, captures that, and she can change whatever she wants out. It's a Word document. She can add to it.
There you
Now,
go.
I haven't experimented with pictures, how difficult it is to format if you want an ebook. For a print book, you pretty much end up exporting a PDF so the images are in their
Right,
place.
right.
But ebook can be a little bit trickier. So I personally recommend it for a text only, unless you're going to have somebody to professionally format those pictures in there for you if you're going to want an ebook.
There's bound to be a way to do it, but I also see a brilliant way of doing it. A lot of people like me are very, believe it or not, very shy in a public situation to a degree. I don't know why I am, but I have been. I don't care if I'm in front of 1 million people and I've got to speak. But you put me into a networking type deal, that's, where I've got to go and sort of flog my business to people and see if they're any good as a client, potentially, because that's what it boils down to. You're whoring around looking for clients. I don't care what anybody says. That's the truth of it. So the reality is I'm not like that. A lot of people aren't. But, do a chapter about your business, create a little book, and hand it out. I can see that being a fabulous lead generator, or like a lead magnet. There's another little way of using the book as well. So look, down the bottom, I've been flogging this here $25 deal. I asked Sheila if she'd be so kind through the show, could we do something good for you, the viewer? $25. There's no skin off your nose there. I mean, better than a kick in the teeth, as they say, where I come from. Use the coupon IBM. Sorry, IBM? Did I put the IBM? MBM, you idiot. MBM, right? Which is short for Mark Bishop Media. How about that?
Yes, I appreciate your time and your audience and your listeners. And so I felt it was the least I could do to help them.
Appreciate that. That's very kind of you. I love giving my viewers and listeners opportunities and gifts and things like that. I've got some lovely stuff coming up in the future once my site can get going, launching. But I love authors, and I love, it's very scary, and it takes a lot of guts to write a book, right? So any help you can get along the way, I think, is a good thing. This is a marvelous invention of yours, great creation. I think it's going to do exceptionally well. And all people have got to do is just go to PodtoBook.com. Okay, PodtoBook.com. Very simple. All right. And I'll have it on Nothing Like a Good Book too once we get rolling. But please make sure you get your $25 discount. Just use the coupon that shows on the page, MBM. All right. So in leaving and closing, what's next on the agenda? What are you going to invent next?
I am so in love with the tool. It's not about invention right now. It's about writing those books. What I did is created a different podcast for those solo episodes. And the book that I'm working on is the one that comes before Momentum, because Momentum is the practices to help you once you've started your business. And I thought, well, I skipped that first part, which is what I've spent so many years doing is helping people go around that circle. And that's the book. And then I am also at a personal level in personal development. I have that master's in leadership. And I've always wanted, to do something like this, but in the personal space. And I think as a mother with 3 adult children, this is also my legacy to them.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm working on in my writing class. Now, ironically, let me show you.
What next? Shall we go?
This is a writer's journey. And this was given to me Mother's Day 2024.
Okay.
And it's almost embarrassing to show you how much had been written.
You're right.
Don't laugh, Mark. I said embarrassing. I'm being vulnerable. Right here. I got, look, 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
So I started a writing book a few weeks ago, and I've got a good 40, 50 pages written in good old pen, not even pen, pencil and paper. And so with all due respect, like an artist can paint in different mediums, I am going to record these and pass them through PodtoBookAI to see what I can get. So I'm experimenting. That's where I'm at right now.
That's what you got to do. Edison took 100 of them before he cracked it. So there you go. Listen, it's been fabulous. We got to go. I wish you well with this, and for anybody watching, it's going to be out there for a while. So please get your coupon, okay? Get a discount. Do something with it, okay? There's lots of things you can do. You can be creative now. You can have your little book. You can write, and you don't have to write, okay? Talk, communicate. You can be interviewed, okay? Or you can just do it yourself. Doesn't matter. PodtoBook.ai, PodtoBookAI.com. PodtoBookAI.
So it is podtobook.com. PodtoBookAI is the actual tool, but podtobook.com explains, that's where all the information's at.
That's what you've got.
Other website is the actual tool once
you get going. That's down here.
And I made that really, really simple. And I just want to point out, Mark, that even though we are using all AI, it is all automated and using that agents and artificial intelligence. The team behind PodtoBookAI, we are human. And since we're not a giant corporation, we are very accessible. And so you're at a time where if you need any questions answered, you can easily contact us by visiting the website or answering
That's it.
the emails.
Beautiful. You're not hiding behind anything. You're approachable and contactable. Boy, what a concept. I miss the old days where you can speak to somebody on the phone. These days, it's getting worse. And I think AI and with bots that way, it's going to really improve again because you're going to get served. You're going to get service. It might be a bot, but you'll get an answer straight away. That's something fantastic. It's already happening. Sheila, got to go. Thank you so much for being on the show. Wish you all the best. Okay?
Thank you.
And, I think it's absolutely fantastic. And there you go. Isn't that amazing? Don't you think that's amazing, Pod to Book? Stick around, Sheila, because I want to make sure that we've downloaded the whole thing from your end. So don't go anywhere, just for 60 seconds, okay? I'd appreciate that. Dedicated to authors, ladies and gentlemen, discovering your book, whatever it may be now, promoting your book and selling your book. To help you sell your book with all the other things that are out there possible in doing. And there's lots of ways you can. It just sort of depends on which way you want to go, what appeals to you, what your budget is, what you can do, can't do, whatever, okay? And we'll be back very soon with another very interesting episode with the person I've got lined up next. We're going to delve into some law side of publishing, and we're going to look out for you and going to protect you a little of what's going on out there in this space that you want to be careful of. So we'll be talking about that as well. In the interim, just always, be kind to each other.